When you apply an effect to an image, you have the ability to, right after you apply it, go to the Edit menu and choose Fade. Now this will apply an ability to go back to the original slowly and in increments so that you can turn a filter down a little bit as far as its power. Let me demonstrate this by applying a watercolor effect to my cat here. I'll go to watercolor, and I'm going to just accept this after I zoom out a little bit to see how it's going to look with this little zoom guy down here in the bottom. I think it looks really good. But like I said, I might want to fade back to how she looked before I apply this effect without using the sliders here. So I'll go ahead and say OK. And then I go to the Edit menu, and then it says Fade Watercolor. This name is always going to change based on the filter that you applied. So I'll choose Fade Watercolor. I'm now presented with a dialog box that has the ability to fade the opacity of this effect and the mode, which is very interesting. So let me show you what it looks like with the normal mode. I'll go ahead and drag the slider to about 50%. The watercolor effect is still there, but it's not as intense as it was before. I'll put it back to 100%, and now I'll go all the way to 0. It's a nice feature, but don't forget, you have to take advantage of this pretty much right away, because fade is going to change based on what you select next. So I'm going to put this back to 100, and this time I'll change the mode, the way the fade is going to be applied. I'll choose Dissolve just to give you a really good example as how powerful this is. I'm going to have a dissolve effect applied to my fade. Now I'll go ahead and drop the slider down. And you see that? I'm getting these little pixelated little effects here. You can use this in conjunction with the filters to create some very unique looks for your artwork. I think it looks great. You can also change this to something like darken, multiply, and many of the other blend modes that you'll find, of course, inside of Photoshop. So just experiment and see what you can come up with. They're really fun to play with, and in conjunction with the slider and the filters, you can take Photoshop and make it really your own. You don't have to just rely on the filters that come prepackaged with Photoshop. You can also play around with this in conjunction with Fade to create your own unique look.